Hello everybody out there in Flosstube world. This is Vicki, aka the Virginia Stitcher, coming to you with my latest cross stitch video. So this is my channel that's all about my cross stitch. Sometimes I show a little bit of different crafting, but mostly it's cross stitch. This is Flosstube video number 45. It is Thursday, December 14th of 2023. So I hope you all are having a great end to your year. I can't believe it's only, I don't know, less than 3 weeks till the end of the year. And where is it gone? And I know I have not been here to talk to you guys since, I think it was like the end of October. Yikes. I am so sorry. I am so sorry that it took me so long to get back to you, but you know, just the holidays and everything going on. We are going to have just a small Christmas here this year. You can see I'm up in my living room, so I'm in a little bit different area of the house. This is my living room Christmas tree, and that's my husband's stocking back here. And my Christmas village, it's not very big. Some houses that I've had for years and years. And then there's other various decorations and another tree downstairs and the TV room downstairs. But I thought I would come up here and film my video. Like I said, I'm not going to have much family. Most of my family is moving right around now. The family that comes to visit me, my mom that lives in Florida, she's going to be coming up and being my neighbor. She's going to come and live in my same neighborhood, just 3 blocks from my house, her and her husband. So that is going to be so fantastic. I am so looking forward to it. She turned 80 back in November, and she had a little bit of a health scare. Where she had to spend some time in the hospital, and some doctors are giving her medications and stuff. There's a little bit of stuff going on with her heart. Nothing dangerous that we know of. You know, she seems to be doing pretty well. So they found a house. My husband and I were out walking in the neighborhood, and we usually try to walk a couple of miles in the neighborhood when the weather's really nice, and on most days. And we saw a for sale sign and thought, that looks like a house they might be interested in. And it's only 3 blocks. And so I've been putting that bug in her ear probably for a couple of years now. And she finally decided, you know what, she's not getting any younger, and it would be better to live closer to family, because her and her husband are the only ones. They have some friends down there, but they don't have any family in Florida. So this way they'll be close. I can spend more time with my mom. She loves to diamond paint. She wants to learn cross stitch. So I can foresee her and I spending time, you know, crafting together. So that I'm so looking forward to that. But they close on their house in January. So they are in the middle of packing and will not be able to make it up here for Christmas. They said, we'll do our Christmas later after they get up here. But, and that, and my younger daughter, my youngest daughter, and her 2 boys and her husband, he's in the Army, her husband, and they've been out in Colorado at Fort Carson, but now they are moving to Kentucky. So they're changing duty stations again. So they just left yesterday for their trek from Colorado to Kentucky. So they will not be able to make it here. That's my 2 grandsons, my daughter and my son-in-law, and their 2 doggies. And so I think the only people I'm going to be able to see are going to be my oldest daughter and her 3 children, possibly, are going to be able to get out here to our house at sometime at Christmas time. They divide, you know, between families. So we'll have to see what time they can share with us. So it's going to be a kind of a small Christmas this year, but I still wanted to decorate and feel the holiday spirit. I got my holiday necklace on. I think I picked this up at Hobby Lobby last year. I have little poinsettia earrings. I thought, I am still gonna go with it. I love Christmas. I've been playing Christmas music while I was decorating, and we've been doing some things around the house. So my husband and I have been still enjoying our Christmas season, and I hope you guys are too. Whichever way you celebrate the holidays, I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic time, and a good rest of your year, and a good year to follow. So what I want to do is, I need to jump right in because I have a lot to show you guys since I haven't checked in with you since October. I can't believe it. So all of November and most of December, I have been busy working on, I think I counted up about 20 20 or 21 different things. I finished 3 things. In fact, 2 of the things that I finished, and they're all small finishes, so it's not going to be one of my big, beautiful, bodacious projects. They're smaller. But 2 of them I started and finished since I last showed you, been here with you guys. So there, I have 2 SAFs, a start and a finish, and 1 finish that I had started earlier in the year. And I have about 18 other WIPS or starts that I've also worked on. So let me, last time my last video, video 44, I was just, so far the dogs are behaving themselves, but I had a dog, I think it was my older one, Maya, that was insistent that she needed me to open the door for her, even though I had let her out right before I started my video. And I did that again today. I gave them their little treat. I let them out to go potty. So they should not need anything from me until I finish this video, because they still have 2.5 hours till they need to eat dinner. So they should be good. But I had Laura Lala D Stitches here on Flosstube. She commented and she said she just giggled at the doggy shenanigans that were going on in my video. And I just think that is so perfect. Yes, it was definitely shenanigans. These girls are up to shenanigans quite often. And so my husband and I were out and I saw this little sign, this little thing to decorate one of our shelves up here. And I thought, how perfect. So I got it. It says, spoiled dogs and their household staff live here. Yep, that is it. That is for sure. What goes on around here is, I think we train them. No, I think they train us. So yeah. So I thought I'd share that with you guys, since if you saw my last video, you're going to know that I was getting kind of frustrated. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, is she going to continue? Because actually that dog, Maya, I just took her to the vet. She has to have a little surgery next Tuesday. So I took her to the vet for her blood work to run labs on her. No, you don't start growling. That's my younger one. She's over here on the couch. Shh, no. I took her for her labs. Well, they needed to also give her Bordetella, which is oral. So they needed to put it in her mouth, and the lab tech came back and she said, I'm going to tell you what, she is a stubborn dog. She said, I could not get her mouth open. She said, I finally had to blow in her nose to get her to open her mouth and swallow the medication. I said, yes, that's the Yorkie in her. My girls are Maltese and Yorkie mixes. We call them Morkies. And they are a handful, but they are furry bundles of love, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So last time also, I had showed you guys this, sorry for the reflection, I'm right by the windows here in the living room. But this, I showed you this in my last video. This was a finish I had back in probably the 1990s, late 90s. And I went ahead and just popped her in a frame real quick and had her out on display for Halloween for October. And I know I had one commenter say, please, if you could find out what this chart is and let us know. And I did have a wonderful subscriber, a commenter on my channel, and she didn't leave her name. It was just her, I guess, Facebook or Flosstube handle, but she was able to know what this is. So I just wanted to let you also, and I also commented back to that commenter that wanted to know the information on her, but just in case you're interested in her and you have the way to get backlogs of old magazines, she is the Harvest Witch from Better Homes and Gardens Cross Stitch and Needlework magazine from October of 1996. I mean, I knew I stitched her back in the 90s. I probably stitched her in 97, 98. I used to be subscribed to a few different cross-stitch magazines back in the day. So I just wanted to do that. I'm going through the comments a little bit. And then the last comment that I also wanted to address in this video was somebody had asked me, well, I've been asked this a couple of different times, probably 2 or 3 times in my videos. And they asked, why do you pick Victorian motto threads sometimes for your projects. And you'll notice I'll have projects here today that I have selected. I stitch, and I explained, I stitch from stash, and I have quite a stash of Victorian motto, and they're not a called for thread normally in any pattern. So in order to use my stash, I put it in where I can. So if I know I'm gonna stitch from stash and I have a red Victorian motto that's gonna work really good for that project, I'll pull that red. If I have a beautiful green or a yellow or whatever, and I'm gonna show you why I say I have quite a stash. I pulled my Victorian motto out of my stash, out of my craft closet to show you. I keep them on rings. This is how much Victorian motto, this tray is full. It is overflowing with Victorian motto. And what I do for these, because they're not usually called for, so I don't need the name of the floss, but I like to pick them by color. So if I'm looking for a yellow or gold, here's a ring that's all the yellowy gold colors. If I'm looking for one that's like dark reds, here's a bunch of dark red, you know, muted red colors, and so on. I don't have as many of the blues. So I keep them on rings by color in my closet, and then I can go through here if I'm looking for, you know, a specific, like I said, like maybe a dark muted red, then I pull this ring and I look through it and see if anything will work. If it doesn't, I mean, I pick a DMC, or I have also a smaller collection of other overdyes like Gentle Arts, Classic Color Works, and WIPS Dye Works, but I don't have as many because those get called for and I use them when they're called for in projects. But I've had this stash from years ago, and in order to use it, I pull it in when I'm stitching from stash. So I just wanted to just let you guys know. Sorry I'm out of screen, but I'm gonna put that down here. I've got a lot to show you guys, so I have a bunch stacked over here on the couch next to me. So those were some of the questions, some of the comments that I got in my last video and previous videos before, so that I thought I would address those. And now I'm going to start out with the few finishes that I had. Told you I had 3 finishes. The first one that I finished, I started this one probably on October 28th, and then finished it on October 31st. So it's a small, and this one is called Spell of the Moon by Blackbird. And you probably have seen this one. Let me bring it up close. Sorry for the little crease in it. And this one is stitched on a piece of Be Stitch Me fabric. This is the color Coconut Shell. It's a 16 count Ada by Be Stitch Me. And this comes from the Blackbird Winds of Autumn book. So it comes out of this book right here. And I had just showed you guys, I think in my last video, that I had received this book. And I was talking about how I loved a lot of the patterns in here, and I definitely want to do this one, the Mighty Acorn, and a lot of people have stitched this one. And I loved the this one down here, the Spell of the Moon. So I am going to probably finish this into a pillow and hopefully get it done for next Halloween, next October, and have this out on display. So that was my first start and finish since I had last checked in with you guys. And then my next piece, sorry, I went to my retreat in Ocean City. I had my Tangle retreat, I think it was like November 29th to December 3rd or something like that. Well, I had started this little project and finished it there. So I had a ta-da, we call them ta-das at the retreat. And this is by Crocetta Agogo, and it's called The Little Penguin. Oh my goodness, there is a lot of glare right now up here. Sorry, I was trying to get a lot of good light. But this one is The Little Penguin, which you're gonna see anyway that it finished. This one I stitched on, oh, I'm sorry, this one, oh, I already told you what that one was stitched on. Oh my gosh, I'm so out of practice. This one is 32 count platinum Lugana, and I stitched it with all the called for DMC colors. And I'm going to use my board just in case the Christmas tree lights shine. And here's my the little penguin. Isn't it adorable? So like I said, I stitched this on 32 count Lagana in the color Platinum. You can see how it's off, you know, against the white here. You can see the color that it is. So, because I wanted the whites to show in here. And the pattern even came with this little candy cane button. So let me bring it in close. Sorry for the couple of little wrinkles, little folds. But that was my ta-da. This I finished, I believe, on December, or might have been December 1st or November 30th. Because I wanted to get this one finished. So this was the first thing I worked on at my retreat. I already had most of it done, but I needed to finish filling in the penguin, I think his stomach, his little belly here, all the white stitches. And then he was done. So like I said, this is Crocetta A Go-Go, and it is called The Little Penguin. Adorable. I want to still, I was thinking, I loved him so much, the little penguin himself, that I'm thinking in the future I might just stitch him for a Christmas tree ornament. Not all the stuff in the back. But I'm going to make a small finish for him. He'll either be a pillow or it'll be a like a flat fold or something to display for next. I might get him, I might hold him aside to see if I could figure out what I want to do with him and maybe get him finished for this winter, because he's really a winter piece. It's not necessarily just Christmas. He's a winter. And then the last finish that I had that was a start and a finish was one of my Prairie Schooler Santas. And this one is the 2018 Santa. Looks like this. It's a Santa Claus with the snowman. And here is my finish. I stitched this on 18 count Vintage Country Mocha. That's what I'm trying to stitch all of my Prairie Schooler Santas on. I stitched it with all of the called for DMCs. And I finished this one just maybe 2 days ago. So he was just finished, just recently. And I'm not putting the words, this one says Let It Snow, and the little border. Because I so far have finished this one, and I did the 2021 Prairie Schooler Santa, and he's right here. And this one says Winter Woods, but I did not stitch that on there either, or the little dash border. I'm trying to decide whether these are going to be hanging ornaments for the tree, or little pillows for a dough bowl, or even to hang off a garland. I'm not real sure yet. I want to finish probably at least 3 or 4 of these before I start FFOing them, fully finishing them into an ornament or a pillow. So these are the 2 I have so far. This one is still on my Nurge hoop because I loved the size of this, because it worked perfect where I didn't have to move the hoop at all, that the whole design fit in there. So this is one of the smaller Nurge hoops, and it's just easy to hold in my hand and just be a quick little stitch. So I already picked out the next one I think I want to start, and that one is in one of my Santas Revisited. And it is this Santa Claus right here with the North Pole. And I think that is 2000, what is he? He is 1996. This is the 1996 Santa. But this Santa's Revisited has 1987, 1993, and 1996. And this one's book number 204. I am reading that backwards, right? Yeah. So that is my planned next one. Because when I finish one, I just go ahead and I'm ready to start the next. Because I have a couple of pieces of fabric, you know, just ready. My 18 count Ada in Vintage Country Mocha. So I think the whites pop on that color really nicely. So that was the last of my finishes. So I had 3. I had 1 all year, and I had 3 more finishes just recently. So now I don't want that yet. put that over to the side. Let me put these out of my way. Excuse me for a minute. I'm gonna move this whole big, I have a huge tub here full of my WIPS that, you wanna see? You wanna see what you got? Buckle your seatbelts. I hope you guys have a drink of your choice and some nice stitching project to work on, because this is what I'm gonna be showing you of everything that I've been working on. Oh my goodness. Because like I said, it was the end of October. So the first piece that I'm gonna show you, the first probably, I think maybe 4 pieces are fall, because I was still stitching fall when I was last with you guys. And this first one is called the Gather In by Plum Street Samplers. Looks like this. And I am stitching this one on, what am I stitching this one on? I am stitching this one on 28 count Lugana in the color Caramel Macchiato by Fiber on a Whim. And I stitching from stash, so I picked different colors for this one. It's not all called for. And this is my progress so far. So what I was doing was filling in all this grass. And I think I extended the fence over, because I thought, you know, ambitious minds, I thought, oh, I need to get that fence far enough over, that way I can just fill in the grass all the way over. So I still have quite a bit of grass to fill in, you know, because this fence even goes over, I think, even a little bit farther. But I got that far. I still have a hanging thread. And this is where I am on the Gather In by Plum Street Samplers. And I think this, the white color here, this off-whitish color, and the green color are both Victorian motto from my stash. So that is where I am on that piece. So that is the first WIP I'm going to show you out of, I don't know, 18. So let me find, maybe I'll throw them behind me so I don't block myself in. The next one is my Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. When I last checked in with you guys, I showed this to you, but I didn't have this block finished. So I can get it out of the bag. And I was working on this block right here. So I had this one done, and I was working on this one, and I already had this one partially done. But I said I wanted to finish this block, and that's what I did. I am stitching this one on a piece of 16 count Aida by Picture This Plus in the color J, J-A-Y. It's kind of a purpley blue. And well, let me show you the whole thing. So this is where I am. I did finish that block. So I'm going to bring it in close and show you. And I'm using all the called for DMCs. Well, there's a DMC conversion. She uses NPIs, but I'm using the DMCs. So I did manage to finish that block. I had this one already finished. And this one here. And like I said, I have the witch is missing her hat and the rest of her hair and some stitches in her face. But I have most of that witch done, the cauldron, that one black cat and pumpkin. And the witch, it looks like she's putting a bat into the cauldron. So, but that is my, and this is kind of the true color right here, kind of a purpley blue. You'll notice it depends on the light. It shifts from blue to purple looking, but it's a purpley blue. And that looks too blue. That's a little darker blue than it actually looks in person. Loving it. Loving all of the Hawk Run Hollows. They're fun to stitch on. They're a lot of stitching, but they're fun. It's just straight up cross stitches. There's usually not any fractional, not that I've run into, and no specialty stitches, so you can stitch it on Aida very easily. You don't need to have any kind of fancy skills on specialty stitches or anything like that. So the next one is still another fall piece that I was working on, and this was Autumn Town. I showed you Autumn Town last time, but I wanted to, and this is by Autumn Lane Stitchery, I wanted to get a little bit farther on this one. So it looks like this. Oh, wow. There you go. That's a little better. And all of the green parts are the fabric. So everything that's not stitched is in green. So you want to pick kind of a green color as suggested for it. And I am stitching this one with a combination of the called for and some out of my stash that I had. Some for the tree. Some of it's DMC and some, I think I have a Be Stitch Me Silk and a Victorian Motto. But here's how far I am. So I think when I last showed it to you guys, I think I came down and I was working more down in here. I think I still had to finish this tree. And I brought this, it's like a pathway in. So that is where I am on Autumn Town by Autumn Lane Stitchery. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked because it looks like I need to move my ring light a little bit because I'm getting a shadow. There we go. Maybe that helps. Love, love, love this. This is on a piece of, is it 32 or 28 count? It's a 32 count green Lugana. So it's just a plain green. It's not over-dyed. It's a very light green. If I put it against this white board, you'll see the green. So that's what I'm stitching that one on. And then I had one more fall piece. It's the First Thanksgiving by Twin Peak Primitives. And I did get, I think I worked just another day, maybe two on it since I last checked in with you guys. So, oops, look at that. Try to keep the stuff together so I don't lose things. We don't want that. This is the First Thanksgiving by Twin Peak Primitives. And I wanted to finish filling in, I think I still had to finish the ground in here, the bottom part. And I think one of these buildings or something in the vignette in the middle. I wanted to try to get down, I want to start working down in here, and I want to start working on like the Pilgrim or the little Indian girl. Start getting in there some. But I didn't. This one is being stitched on a piece of 16 count Aida in the color Dirty. And yeah, I'm using a combination, like my own picks for this, for some of the flosses. That's where I am. This is how far I got on this one. So I was able to come in and finish doing the border around because I don't think I had this all the way done, and come in and finish filling in this in one of these houses. So this is my Twin Peak Primitives the First Thanksgiving. It's going to look nice hanging up during the month of November for Thanksgiving here in the U.S. When it is all finished. Looking forward to that. One day. In the meantime, I'm enjoying stitching on it, so having fun with it. And one day I'll be able to enjoy it hanging on my wall. I'm just going to kind of tuck things back in the bag a little bit, at least, so that I don't have loose pieces floating around. Since I have so many things, I don't want them to get all confused and mixed together. This next piece I worked on for maybe 2 days. And this one is actually like, I consider this a spring piece. And this is by Blackbird Designs, and it's called Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring. Looks like that. It's a big sampler. This one's one of the larger ones. Do I have written down? This one is on a piece of, is it 32 count? This is Lugana. Here we go. Now, 28 count Lugana in the color Silver Lining by Seraphim. And I think I'm using all the called for this one, all the called for overdyes. This has like a kind of a rosy hue to it, this fabric. I'll show it against the whiteboard in a minute. And this is where I am on this piece. So when I picked it up, I had this side done, but I wanted to extend it all the way over to the edge. I wanted to get the one line at least done, and I was bringing the border over. So that's as much as I got done on this one this time around. I love it. And the color of it is kind of true right there. It's like a blushy, rosy pink, pinkish tone to it. If I put it against the board, see, it's kind of it's like a really dusty, rosy color. It's not in your face pink, but it's a really pretty color. I like it. I like it a lot. Happy with it. So that, and then I got bitten by the wanting to work on winter and Christmas pieces. So I started picking up some winter and Christmas. Now this one's a big one. It's going to take me a long time to finish this one. This one is by Bygone Stitches, and it's called the Christmas Quaker 2. This isn't a really good picture of it anyway, because I can't see the whole thing because I kind of crunched up the piece right there and things like that. So you get the gist of it. And I am stitching this with a very, very, how do I want to say? Various reds and greens from my Victorian Motto collection. And this is being stitched on a piece of Fortnite Fabrics 32 count Lagana in the color Plush. It's kind of got a little bit of a tanny yellow tint to it. And I was picking this one up and trying to do like a thread a day. And then I fell off the wagon with it and didn't get, and I still have my thread hanging there. But I was able to, I had the words "O come," I started to fill out all ye and get the F for faithful. And I finished this motif. This motif was half done, and I started that motif. So that's where I got with doing a thread a day for, I don't know, maybe for a week, 5 days, five to 7 days, something like that. But this one's a big piece. Can't remember if it's going to take this whole piece of fabric, but it is on a fat half. So I got a long ways to go on this baby. That's why I thought if I pick it up and I try to do a thread a day. But like I said, I picked a bunch of different colors from my Victorian Motto stash that I have, because I've had my Victorian Motto for a while, for years. So it tells you how many yards you need. And it was something like 25 yards of one, and I can't remember. Well, it had to be more than that, like 100 yards, 110 yards. So I picked various Victorian Motto reds out of my collection that looked very similar to each other, but a little different, so you get a little bit of variegation. And I picked 2 greens. And what I'm doing with this one is I have it in a project bag by, is this Little Lake House? Who is this? This is a Dot Dot Goose bag. So I have it in my Dot Dot Goose bag, a Christmas bag, that it came with the, like a thread bed. And in the thread bed, I keep the 2 that I'm working with at the moment. So this is the red and the green that I'm stitching with. I'm doing the "O Come All Ye Faithful" in this green, and I'm doing that motif in this red. And then when I switch to do a different word, a different song title, or a different motif, I might pick a different one. And when I'm working on that, stick it in here. So I'm keeping track of which ones I'm using at the time. Because as you see, I didn't finish that one motif. So if I put it aside and didn't pick it up till next Christmas time, then I would be going, not real sure which one I was working with. which I don't think it really matters because I'm going for a little bit of a variegated look to it, but not a strongly variegated look, where it doesn't matter if all the threads completely match or not. So here's sticking up. That is my thinking on that one. Now, I told you I went to my retreat. I finished my little penguin as my ta-da. Well, I also had a start while I was there. And that was a start that I started with Cindy and Madeline, two of my friends that came there, came to the retreat. And we decided we wanted to start together the Plum Street Sampler Spring Moon. Looks like this. Spring is out and summer is out. I have both of those. And winter is out, but I think it's only available through one particular cross-stitch store. I can't remember which one. I think Stephanie from Just Keep Stitching said something in her their last video that she had ordered it and was waiting for it to come in because she wants to start it. I think it's going to be her New Year's Eve start or something like that, something that she wants to start really soon. So we decided we wanted to start this one together. So I picked up a piece of fabric there while I was at, I went to Salty Yarns while I was there, their local needlework store, and I pulled all the DMCs. It's charted for DMC or overdyed flosses, and I pulled the DMCs, and I just pulled from my stash, like old DMCs that I had on floss bobbins, and a couple on, I think there's one on a floss drop, and I just threw them in the bag and took it with me. And I found this piece of fabric, and this is a 32 count 32 count linen in the color Luna by Lakeside Linens. And make sure I'm showing you the front. And this is how far I got. That's where I am on this one. So I was able to come in, get the moon finished. There were a few random little, I guess, little stars or something here. This leaf is pretty much done. This flower is done. And I was working on the basket. And then I left the retreat and I haven't worked on it since. But I will be for sure picking this one back up. And this Luna by Lakeside Linens is kind of a yellowish tan. That's pretty true to color there. I'll probably pick this for one back up in the spring and work on it some more. But right now I'm working on, Christmas and winter pieces. And I'll tell you more about my plans for 2024 at the end of the video. So, tuck all this back in the bag. Oh, please. There we go. The next one, I only worked one day at my retreat on this piece. It's one that I had already started, and it's by Teresa Kogut, and it's called Heaven and Nature. Let me see if I can find the picture, the chart picture in here. Here we go. And I think I'm using all the called for, yeah, it looks like, except one thread. So this is what this one looks like. And I started up in the upper left-hand corner up here, and I was filling in some more. I was working kind of in the middle here. And this one is being stitched on a piece of Fortnite fabric, 32 count Lugana in the color Caravan Tan. And this one's gonna be another big piece. So let me wrangle this fabric, and I have a loose thread because I was at the retreat, and what happened was I was working on this one while I was waiting for all three of us to be ready to start Spring Moon. I got a piece of hair in my face. And when they said, okay, we're ready, I was like, okay. And I dropped this project and I started stitching on Spring Moon. So I worked just one afternoon on this at the retreat. And I think I was busy talking also a lot. So I didn't get very far. But I was working here and I got this started. I got the star and an urn put in. And I have a thread hanging there. But this is my Heaven and Nature by Teresa Kogut. And this is like a lightly modeled kind of tannish fabric. It's called Caravan Tan by Fortnite Fabrics. I don't know if they're dyeing anymore, doing fabric anymore. I haven't heard anything from them, but I've had these couple of Fortnites in my stash from, I think I picked them up at the Steel City Stitchers retreat that I went to the year before, not this past year, but the year before. So I've had these Fortnites for a little while in my stash. And the only color that I am switching out on this one is, I have the note here. Where am I? I'm switching, I'm doing Weeks Dye Works Porpoise in place of Joshua Tree, because when I looked, it is used, where's my ring of floss? Here it is. When I looked, here's the Weeks Dye Works Porpoise. It's a gray color, like a light grayish color. The Joshua Tree is more of kind of a greeny brown color. And it's used for this little raccoon here and in a couple other places. But I didn't want my raccoon to be a greenish brown color. I wanted him to be more gray. So I switched in Porpoise by Weeks Dye Works instead of the Joshua Tree that it was called for. But other than that, it's the called for overdyes. And she doesn't use, Teresa Kogut's great about making a beautiful, interesting piece, but not with a lot of different colors. So there's only, I don't know, 7 or 8 colors in this thing. I think 2 DMCs, these 2 that are long are DMCs because I stitch, all of these are stitched with 2 threads. So I do the loop start where I take both ends and put it on my needle and catch the loop to knot my piece, to anchor my piece, a piece of thread. So, and then these I use 2 pieces, 2 separate pieces, but I stitch with 2 threads. So those are the colors for this. There's not a whole lot in this piece. Stuff that in there. The next one was a new start since I last spoke to you guys. And this is With Thy Needle and Thread by Brenda Gervais. It's called the Noel Sampler. Let's see if I can get it out of here. Let me take it all out of this plastic bag. Hold on for a second. Well, because I have a plastic bag and a plastic bag. Because I took it on my retreat. It's a Noel Sampler by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. This one came out a few years ago. What's the copyright on this? I can't remember. So it's not brand new, and I've seen several people stitch this one. I don't know. I saw it somewhere. The copyright might be on each page. 2013. So it's been out for 10 years. I am stitching my Noel Sampler. I think I'm using all of the DMCs. Oh no. I switched in a couple of Victorian mottos. Like I said, if I'm stitching from stash, I picked these 2 Victorian mottos, and I also picked this Green Tea Leaf by Gentle Arts. So these 3 I subbed in, and then the rest of these are the DMCs that she calls for. And I am stitching this on a piece of, I can tell it's Lugana. I'm not sure what color this is. It looks like Laurel Green, 32 count Laurel Green Lugana. Because Laurel Green is kind of tannish with a slightly green hue to it. Just very slight. And this is how far I got on my start. I started it before I went to my retreat, and then I was at my retreat working on it for a little while one day. And I was sitting there next to Madeline, and I said, I am going to make a pig's ear of this brickwork. I was getting kind of off, following conversations, joining in on conversations, trying to stitch at the same time, and I thought, I'm going to mess that all up. But that's where I am on there. So I set this aside. I didn't work much farther on it. I think this is part of a bird, And I think I was filling this in across here to count over and get to the house. And I was starting on the house. But when I was trying to do all that mortar and fill in the bricks, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get too confused and I'm going to make a mistake. So I tapped out on that one. I said, I'm not going to go any farther on this one today or here at the retreat. I will take it home when I'm stitching in my craft room by myself. And I can concentrate a little bit better on, because I like to, a lot of times with the brickwork, I try to do the mortar and then I fill in the bricks. So I did some of the mortar and then I was filling in the bricks. But then I was trying to put in some more of the mortar and I felt like I was just, I don't know, I was getting confused. Like I had to keep counting and I was counting and I was counting and I was like, so you can see where I started to fill in some of the bricks. There's some bricks in one color and then the rest of these that are blank are in the other color red. But then I was trying to put more mortar in. I saw that I was like, okay, let me do this side here and then I'll start trying to fill it in. And when I had to keep recounting and counting on the pattern over and over 2 and 3 times, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, it's moving too slow because I'm counting, I'm second guessing myself. Was I supposed to stitch 4 stitches and then skip 3 spaces, la 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 la, or go 3 spaces, skip 3 spaces and skip 4 stitches? I was getting confused. So I said, yeah, we're not gonna mess that up. This next piece is a restart. This one is by Blackbird Designs. This is a piece I'm sure a lot of you have seen because a lot have stitched this one. And I was stitching it and I kept thinking, what is my holdup on it? I'm not really loving it. But then I see other people. I saw somebody else, and I can't remember who it was, show, well, there were a couple of people. Somebody showed their finish of it. Another person showed their stitching on it so far, their whip. And I was like, I love both of those, but I'm not loving mine. And I think it was the fabric that I wasn't loving, my fabric choice. This is Christmas Garden by Blackbird Designs. Mine is in, when they reprinted, when they re-released it, they put it in Home for the Holidays book. But some people have it, individual leaflet of it when it originally came out. Mine's in the Home for the Holidays book, and I think that one's still available. So I want to show you real quick. And these were the threads I picked. I picked Victorian Motto. You saw how much I had, and I still have a bunch in kits in with my patterns that I'm working on. I picked these 2 reds to work with in it, and it's red currant and dried cherry. So 2 kind of muted reds, 2 muted greens. This one is 1820 sage and antique dried rose leaves. So I have those 2. And then I picked, this is my gold color, golden brown. And then I picked cloves for my brown. So I picked these colors. That's going to be my color palette. And then I just picked a ivory Lugana to stitch it on, just a plain ivory Lugana. And I'm liking it so much more because I'm going to show you what I had before. So I came in and I decided, I started at the top on the last time I was doing it, and I thought, let me come to the bottom, you know, so then it seems different. So I'm at the bottom. So I got some of the bottom border in, and I did the letter C for Christmas. And some of the greenery there. But that's only how far I got on this one so far, but I'm loving it on this cream Lugana. That's true to color right here. The previous one, and I still have it in the bag, was on 16 count Aida by Picture This Plus in the color Heritage, which is a greeny mottled kind of a fabric. And I like the fabric. I don't know, I just wasn't loving it. And this is where I was. I think what I didn't like the most was that my yellow was so faded in, the gold color that I had picked. And I was debating whether or not to pick out all of the gold and restart it and things like that. So I still have a good piece of it that I can stitch something else on this. I'm trying to think if I want to kind of stop this here and make this a small finish here. I'm not sure. But this is where I was before on it. And it was really hard. I just didn't like how these were so ghosted. And it was greenish. And most people have it on a lighter fabric or whatever. And I thought, yeah, maybe that's my problem. Because this is the difference in my two fabrics. One is greenish and one is cream. You know, like ivory. And you know, this is what I have right now. And I like it. And so, you know, who knows? So that's what I did. I'm happy with it. I'm thinking I might pick it up and work on it more because I'm thinking I'm happier with it. If you're not happy with your stitching, at least me, I don't know about all y'all, but if I'm not really digging it, then I don't stitch on it. You know, I pull it out, I stitch a few, maybe a day, half a day, you know, an hour or two, and then I go, and I stitch on something else. So, instead of it sitting there stalled in my stash, because I love the project, I love the Christmas garden, I love people's finishes on it, I thought I might as well just switch it to a different fabric, because if I'm not feeling it, then I'm not working on it. The next one is a new start since I last, oh, my nose, sorry, itchy, I don't want to sneeze. My next one is a new start since I last talked to you guys. I'll get this plastic bag open here, because I have a plastic bag in a plastic bag. And this one is by Plum Street Samplers. It's called This Happy Morning. It looks like that. This one is deceptively big. You might think, oh, that's probably just a little 8 by 10 or whatever. No, this one's 254 stitches by 244. So that barn in there is going to be huge and beautiful. And I think, am I stitching this with all the called for? I'm not sure. I am stitching it on a piece of ivory Lugana. So just a plain ivory Lugana, 32 count. And I'm using, what am I using here? I think it's all the called for, actually. I think most of them were DMCs. So these long ones, like I said, I do the loop start. So I do my DMCs long so that I can take both ends and put it through my needle and have a loop to catch my thread on to kind of secure it when I start it. And then it had these couple of overdyes, Cherry Cobbler by Classic Colorworks and Hickory Sticks by Classic Colorworks. I'm not sure that's, yeah, I think so. Are these the called for? I need to double check for you. No, you know what? I think I picked a lot of, all the rest I picked DMC, except for those two. And the rest I use the DMC conversion that's in the chart. So, and I came in, like I said, this is on an ivory Lugana. Let me make sure I got this right side up for y'all. I mean, it's not huge, 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 but it's bigger than it looks. So, and that's how far I got. So I got that, this is an upper left-hand start. So I started here in the border, counted over, did this star, and then I started filling in the trees. And the only thing I'm not liking a whole lot, but there's not a whole lot just floating out and about on my piece, is I'm not liking how the white is not showing up that well. Like here's a white snowflake, and here's a white snowflake. You can see them in person, you can see them up close, but when it's hanging on the wall, you might not see that. But here they are stitched in, and they're overlapping over the tree. So, I don't know. But I'm loving it. So I think because I looked at it and there wasn't a whole lot of white, I'm not that worried about it. Because here's where I was. I'm working on this here. So I'm working my way down to start getting across and start filling in that barn and that grass, because that's what's going to take a long time. on this piece. So, love it, love it, love it. Let me try to just, maybe I might just leave them here in this tote off to the side. The next piece was another new start. And this one is by Little House Needleworks. And it's called Jingle All the Way. It looks like that. And I am stitching this instead of on a tannish piece of fabric like that, like the model is stitched on. I decided to stitch mine on a dusty blue color. And this color is 32 count Lugana in the color Dove, D-O-V-E. And I'm not going to need all of this. Let me fold it in half here. And this is where I got on this piece. So I was working on this. I worked on it before my retreat, and at my retreat, I was working on it when I gave up trying to count mortar on the bricks. I said, I can come in here and fill this barn in, because that's easier. That's easier stitching. That's fill in. So I did. I still have to do the windows, finish the windows and the door. And I've started on the house over here, kind of getting it all framed in and start doing some fill in. And I got that fence and the snow over, because that's, I think I started over here. I can't remember if I started over here or here, but I wanted to get across and get both of the big buildings in so I could do fill in at my retreat. And see the red in that barn? I don't know if you can tell on the video as clearly, but that variegation really works for this barn color. I love that. And that is a piece that I picked up out of my Victorian Motto collection. It is, I think it's called something brown. Let me look. Russet brown. And it has lighter to darker, if you could see that, lighter to darker variegation. Kind of goes from an orangey red to a rusty red to a brownish red. Perfect for a barn, because it looked like slats in the barn, and I loved it. So when I bring it up close, I think you can maybe see a little bit of that variegation. And this fence here, I didn't use the called for the fence. Instead, I used, what did I do with it? The Gentle Arts. I was stitching from Stash. So I used Gentle Arts Baked Clay. So that's what my fence color is. Gentle Arts Baked Clay. The barn is the russet brown. And then I think the house is 1820 Flax by Victorian Motto. So you can see the fence with that baked clay. That's what it looks like. And also it's calling for the snow to even be that like an ecru color, but I picked white for my snow. I wanted my snow whiter color, and the house and the frame of the barn I did more in the ecru looking color, but I wanted the snow white. So that's what I did on this one. So that's 32 count Dove Lugana. And I know I'm not going to need all of it, because it goes down a little bit farther, but not all the way. And this is, I think, the width. Yeah, from the barn to the house. So I know I have this whole other piece over on this other side. So I'll have a good sized piece to do something small on with this piece of fabric. Love it. Hold on for a second while I reset myself. Did I wake you up? I have a puppy sleeping on the couch over there. Okay. The next one is a new start. This one is by Crochetta A Go-Go. When I started the little penguin, I also around the same time started Winter Sampler by Crocetta A Go-Go. And this is that. I am stitching this one. It uses DMC, so I think I'm using all the called for DMC. Yeah, it looks like DMC in there. And I am stitching this on a 28 count wheat Lugana. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Sorry. And I love this. I love this. Wheat Lugana is a beautiful Lugana. This one I'm stitching something else on that I'm loving. Sorry about my voice. I got a puppy up there rolling around on the couch. She woke up. You know, she's being funny. And this is where I am on the Winter Sampler by Crocetta A Go-Go. I love these colors of blue and white. How wintry does that look? That is gorgeous. So I started out in the upper left-hand corner and I started with the border. So I started filling it in and bringing it down so I could get down, and I did the owl. However, my owl, I figured out, sorry, might have to take a drink of my water, is one stitch closer to my border here than it needs to be. So what I did when I had this red, when I did the red door, when I had the thread here and I still had some left on my needle, I came over here and I went ahead and stitched in. This is the little hat band and scarf for a little snowman that's right here. Excuse me for a second. And when I talk for a while, it makes my voice go. So I went ahead and stitched it one stitch closer to the owl. So now when I count off, if I count off from the snowman, or I count, so I can, also I made sure that the fence post was one stitch closer because this tree is one stitch closer this way. So I did one stitch farther away to make it match up, if that makes any sense. So this is a stitch closer, this owl and this tree, because then I came in and I counted the tree off of the owl, off of his branch here, and started the tree. And then when I looked and I realized, wait a minute, this tree, the birds are kind of bumping into the border. You can see where they're not overlapping, but they come right to the border, and there should be one stitch space between the border and the bird tail. Then I realized, I counted and I was like, oh man, I double checked and I was like, he's one stitch closer this way. So now this is one stitch closer this way. So I said, I don't want to make a mistake when I pick this up later, so let me do it now. Let me move this over one stitch farther that way from the tree. When I counted it off the tree branch, I moved one more stitch so that when I did this fence and started the house, this is in the right place. So the same thing here with the little scarf and the hat band that are done in the red for the little snowman, that they are now right, because I did one stitch farther over. The little snowman, where is he? So right here is a little snowman. It's probably hard to tell. But I didn't want to get here and start stitching in the word winter and the house and everything and have it be one stitch off. So I wanted to correct myself. And that way, I don't think that's going to bug me, that these two things right here are just one stitch closer, because I also went and made sure and I counted these one stitch over from here, from the tree, so that I didn't, and that is all of the, it looks like flowers, like a bushes and flowers or something, a border there. I wanted to make sure those were in the right place. So from now on, when I'm stitching on this, everything should line up where it's supposed to be. And I forgot who I was watching a Flosstube, and they said, they're talking about the mistakes on the piece, and they said, they don't think any of their pieces are perfect, but who knows? Nobody will know. No, only you. And eventually when you finish it and you hang it on your wall, if it's a mistake that you can live with, that's not going to mess up your piece, then who's going to know? So this is Winter Sampler by Crocetta A Go-Go, and I also have their Autumn Sampler might start that next autumn because I'm loving this one. This is so pretty. It's pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. So, that's where I am on that one. Okay, this next one is a new start also. Because, you know, I'm crazy like that. This one is North Pole by Kathy Barrick. Looks like this. This funky, skinny, tall Santa cracks me up. I love him. Sometimes I just love different, funky, folksy pieces. And he fits the bill. So I started in the upper left-hand corner up here. And I'm stitching this one on a piece of linen. This was something I picked up. This is by Needle and Flax, and it's called Fragile. And it is a 28 count linen. And I am stitching it with, oh man, where's the paper for this one? I think I left it downstairs. Stitching it with, I think they're all the called for DMC except the two reds. These two reds here, you see in the border and the start of the Santa's hat. Those are Victorian motto colors I picked out. So I picked out two rusticy Victorian mottos. So I picked out, the lighter one is dark salmon and the darker one is candy apple. So I picked out these two colors to go for my North Pole Santa. And let me put a border behind this because this is a linen that seems kind of see-through a little bit. And that's where I am on the North Pole by Kathy Barrick. So like I said, this is the Santa's hat. And I'll start his face. And this is just the start. I did that one color of the trees. And then I'll go in and fill in with the other color. They're two-tone trees. And I haven't completely finished the border. I got to bring in these lighter color that are on the outer part of the border down. But that's where I am on that piece, and that's pretty true to color for Fragile by Needle and Flax. And what's the next one? What do I want to show you next? How about this one? This is on the top. This one I had started back, I think this was a Mania start this year. And this one is by Tiny Modernist. It is called Jolly Christmas Bell Pull. Looks like this. And I had come in May and I was starting on the border. Just starting to get this checkerboard border in. You can see it. And then I took it and I think I took it to a stitch along with some friends, and I got the little pom-pom of the hat done and a part of a snowflake and some of the border further along. So then I decided I wanted to pick this guy up and I wanted to work on it some more. And this one I am stitching on a piece of 32 count Lugana in the color, this looks like sage green. Is that what it's called? Well, not real sure, so don't quote me on it. And this is where I am. I picked it up and I decided when I finished the Prairie Schooler Santa that I showed you, my finish on that, I was working on him while I was watching TV with my husband in the TV room downstairs. So I decided I'd pick this one up and make this my TV piece for a few days. A lot of times I work about a week in the evenings on a TV piece for like 2 or 3 hours while I'm watching TV. So last night we were watching Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, and I was filling in this part. Like I said, I already had the little pom-pom done. I had the start of a snowflake because when I still had white on my needle, I just went ahead and came down here and was starting on the snowflake. So this is my Jolly Christmas Bell Pull by Tiny Modernist. So I need to finish filling in his hat and get the white edge part of the hat. And then I'm going to come down and work on down the, looks like a candy cane pole, and work on this word Noel. I might want to try to get this Santa Claus in. I'm trying to work in and get this top part filled in. But that is a fun piece. It's not very wide, but it's longer. Long skinny piece because it's a bell pull. Then the next one, I only worked on it one evening so far because I just pulled this back out. But this one is my Christmas Village by, is it Country Cottage? Let me look. Country Cottage Needleworks. And I did the first block and I'm working on the second block. There are 12 altogether. And I'm putting them all together on one piece. And this one is the poinsettia piece. So I was just trying to get started on this one. So it's being stitched on a piece of 32 count Lugana in the color Vintage Country Mocha. And this is where I am on it. So I had already had, this is Santa's house, the very first one in the collection. So that, like I said, there's 12. I'm going to do 4 across and 3 down. And what I was doing is I only had this like candy stripe border here, maybe to about here. So I worked on that and I was extending over the snow. Because once I get the snow filled in, because that's why I still have a hanging thread. Once I get the snow filled in, and that's also why it's on the Q-snap, because I'm still working on it, then I want to start putting in the house, the poinsettia place that's there, because I'll be able to count it off the snow and get started on that. I still need to do the snowflakes up here, and there is like a holly garland kind of border that goes down along here on each piece, and it'll just continue across. I still haven't done that on the first section. Pull the piece out again here. So that is this down here, and there's a few snowflakes in the first one that I haven't done yet. So that's where I am on this one. I'm just starting on the second one. But it's almost Christmas, so I'm working on Christmassy, Santa Clausy kind of things. Because once Christmas is over, then I'm usually like, done, ready to move on to something else. I'm planning on moving on to winter pieces for a little while in January. And my last piece that's in the bin here, it's on a scroll frame. This is my Santa of the Forest by Lavender and Lace. Looks like this. This one is being stitched on a piece of 16 count Aida in the color Sage Summer Khaki. So it's Sage / Summer Khaki. And I was working on his cape down here. Trying to get that finished. So I got that worked on except the gold thread that is in it. So that I'm missing the gold that runs along the edge of the cape. But I came in, I had a little bit of this done, but I came in and I finished it. And I started on the green that's over here. And that's what I was working on this last time. Isn't it looking fantastic? Love this guy. Every time my husband sees it, when I pull it out, he's like, oh, I really like that. So I'm not finished up here, but I got this part down here because there's still a little bit more here. But this is as far over to this side margin as this piece goes, this part goes. So that's how much margin I have left here. And then I have to work over, and there's a dove. You can see the outline left for a dove. There's a wolf that sits in here, a white wolf, gray or light gray. And of course, Santa's head is up here, and that's a lot of it, and an owl. So, and the whole other side of the cape. So I still got quite a bit to go on this one. But I love it. This piece is going to hang up here at Christmas time on this wall right here by the Christmas tree. I have a wall between the French doors to the balcony and the window, and it's going to hang right smack there. And it's going to look gorgeous. So when you come in from the front of the house and you look back here, you're going to see him hanging on the wall. That's my plan. Love him. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Okay, so that was the last. So I only have one other thing to show you, and it was something I was working on this morning, as far as WIPS anyway. And finally, a farm girl, Chrissy, and Stitchy Linda wanted to start a stitch along for Ginger Shoal's birthday, which is actually today. So if you're watching this, Ginger, happy birthday, happy birthday. I decided I wanted to join in. The sal that they wanted to do is Ginger wanted to start this, and they said, well, let's sal it. Let's sal it for your birthdays, which is called a sal is a stitch along. And I thought, I've already started it, but I will stitch on it today, and think of Ginger today and wish her happy birthday. It's her 60th birthday today. So this is called The Christmas Village by the Prairie Schooler. And I had already had this building put in, except for any of the back stitching's not done, and a bunch of these trees, and this little horse pulling this sled of trees. And this one is being stitched on a piece of 16 count Aida in the color Icelandic blue or Icelandic gray, one or the other. And this is where I am. So I just worked on it a little bit this morning before I came on here. So these trees, these few trees here that don't have the tree trunk on them yet, I stitched those in, and I started the roof of a building here, of one of the houses that's next to the horse. This building right here. So I still have quite a bit more trees to go. There's some Canadian geese that are flying over the top. Lots of houses. So I'm planning on stitching on this at least the rest of today, if not longer, because this is a fun piece. I love Prairie Schoolers. They're comfort stitching. Hawk Run Hollows, Prairie Schoolers, and believe it or not, even my lavender and lace can be comfort stitching to me, because they're ones I stitched on for years. I did lots of lavender and lace back in the day. So that is the last of the things that I have been stitching on. So, phew. Okay, so I do want to tell you, I do have plans for next year. Like I said, it's less than 3 weeks. Yeah, maybe only 2.5 weeks left in the year, whatever it is. And I've already been looking forward to next year and like, what do I want to do? And I was sitting there one day and it dawned on me that I'm going to turn 62 next year. And I was born in 1962. So in 2024, I will turn 62 because I was born in 1962. I said, do I want to start 62 new things next year in 2024 in honor of my 62nd birthday and the fact that I was born in 1962? And I hemmed and I hawed about it a little bit. Not for a long time though, because I thought, you know what? I start things, so why not? I started looking through what I have kitted already, and I have a lot of things kitted that I really, really want to stitch on. So then I thought, well, how will I do it? How will I break down the 62 new starts for next year? Well, there are 12 months in a year, and 12 times 5, if I do 5 new starts a month, is 60. And then the other 2 will come from a New Year new start and a birthday start. So in January, I will have my 5 starts plus a New Year new start. And in April, my birthday month, I will have my 5 starts plus my birthday start. So every month I'm going to be doing 5, and 2 of the months I'll be doing 6 new starts. So I am going to start, well, first of all, I forgot about this. I have this piece that I want to start. This is going to be probably my last new start for this year. And I want to start this on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, work on this piece. And this is by Hobby House Press. And this is Dasher and Dancer. And I just downloaded the PDF. So this is a printout from my computer of this chart. And I've seen so many people stitch it. I've seen this finished, and this is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. So I thought, I want to do it in red, and I was like, what red do I want to use? And what fabric do I want to use? So right now, my thought is I want to use this 28 count Picture This Plus Sand fabric. And I want to use, this one I'm going to try and see how it looks as I work with it. But I'm going to use DMC 115. You see it has variegation in it. As long as the variegation isn't too crazy, I was thinking of using this. The called for this one is, for the DMC called for is 221 for the DMC, which is very close to this color. Or Gentle Arts Mulberry. But I don't have a local, real close to me, local needlework shop. So I would have to order in a bunch of mulberry or, you know, whatever. And I thought, you know what, I really like, sometimes on big pieces, I like to use DMC because this is easily available opposed to sometimes the overdyes. So that's my thinking, is these two pieces. So that's going to be a New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, because like I said, we're not really having a bunch of company. And I'm not sure when my older daughter is going to be able to get here with, you know, bring her kids here, and the grandkids, because she has to coordinate with their father's family. So we'll see when they get here, because they might not be here on Christmas Day, or if they do, they might just be here for a few hours, few hours, and then have to leave to go on to the next house. So, the Christmas has passed, I've had like my mom come up, and her and her husband staying here. And last Christmas, I had my younger daughter staying here because they were moving out to Colorado. So I'm going to start this. That's going to be my Christmas start. But for my 62 new starts, I've already picked out my New Year's Eve. My New Year's Eve start is a stitch along with two of my friends, Paula and Cindy, that we've already picked this out. We've already decided we want to start this together on New Year's Day. So that's picked out. And then my 5 new starts. So my New Year's start is going to be, let me pull it out of that. I was kitting it up. By Plum Street Samplers, and it's called This Is the Day. How about that? This is the day. Let's celebrate the new year. So I wanted to do it on, I was like thinking, I really want the ram and the goats to show up. Like if you look at this, you can't really see them. It's really hard, even in person. Like when I first looked at this, I didn't even notice them until somebody pointed them out. But there's a ram up here, and there's some goats over here. And I wanted, they're stitched in either a white or an off-white color. Looks like grits probably. By WIPS Dye Works if you use the called for, or 3865 in DMC. Looks like I pulled all the DMC. But I'm going to stitch mine on a piece of 28 count Lugana in the color Glacier by Picture This Plus, because I did this floss toss on it. Let's see if I can take it all out of the bag and show you what I got. Well, it looks like I pulled some of the DMCs, and I have some overdyes. I was probably kidding from stash, because I said, I'll just pull from stuff I have. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see all of this. See if we can hold that up there. All of these colors on this blue piece of fabric. Glacier is the same color by Picture This Plus that I'm stitching my, what's it called? The Blue Flower, by the Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm, that I love that color. It's a beautiful blue. So the house colors are kind of pinkishy, rosy colors. Pull all of those. Let's set this aside, because I need to show you. And look at how pretty those pinks and reds look on that blue. The only color that's going to be kind of close is the Mint Julep by Classic Colorworks. And that's only used by the door in the house. And I think there's a couple of flowers or something with that color. And the goats, if they're in this 3865 or grits by WIPS Dye Works, they should show up. There should be no issue to see. I really want to see them because I think they're cute. I think they're adorable, and I want them to show up. Then I wanted to start this piece. It's a small By the Bay Needle Arts piece. I have Tidal Rivers All Scenes that I'm doing. That's going to be a long piece, But this one's a smaller one. And this one is Winter Cove by the Bay Needle Arts. And I already had this. And then when I went to Salty Yarns, they had they put out their wintry, Christmassy stuff towards the front on display. They have this one framed up on display. And I kept staring at it and I said, it is even prettier stitched in person. It just looks icy. You know, just that icy, wintry, beautiful, when you look at your window and just see the beautiful snow in the wintertime. So I picked out a piece of fabric I had by Atomic Ranch Fabrics in the color Storm. It's a 28 count Lugana to stitch this one on. So it's a mottled grayish color. And I think that would be pretty. I wanted to make sure that the whites, well, 3865 is more of a yellowy white, but I wanted to make sure the whites would show up. And this calls for B5200, which is brighter than this, a whiter color. So I'm going to do that as my start, a new start in January. That's a plan. And then my next new start in January is going to be, I've had this one for a couple of years. I saw it stitched up. They had a model of it at Keepsakes when I was there a couple of years ago for StitchCon. The first year I went in 2021. And this is by the Cricket Collection. And this is a well-dressed man. And it's all these snowmen. Look. Telling you, this stitched up was so cute. And I like snowmen. So I don't have a piece of fabric like that necessarily. This looks like a tealish color. But I pulled I'm going to use the DMCs for this. Oh, it's so glary. And I pulled this piece of fabric, and when I put the DMC colors next to it, it's going to work out perfect. And then my white snowman were going to show up really good. This is 32 count Lugana in the color Dusk. So it's kind of a bluey gray. This is more kind of true back here. And I'm going to stitch that on that. And like I said, it just uses, I'm just going to use the DMC, the called for DMC on this one. And I have that in I have a master set of DMC. A lot of times I'll pull, just pull the few I need to work with at the time. And then I put them back when I'm done and keep it in my master set. So I have that. And then this one, this is another winter piece that I'm going to do. This one is by Shannon Christine Designs. Let me get it out here. It's called Winter Snowfall. Oops, here's the picture. And it looks like this. And she has a bunch of different options for the colors in here. There's two colors. This one shows two colors of blue, like a lighter and a darker blue for the trees, the ornaments, the reindeer. And then she has other options of a different kind of blue, a turquoise, a red. I think it's like where are the other conversions on here? Bright purples, the reds, the pinks, the blueberries, ice blues, purple. She has lots of different combos of two different DMCs you can use instead. I went and picked my own DMC, and I'm going to stitch this on a piece of dark cobblestone that I didn't bring up. I forgot to bring it upstairs. But it's a really darker piece of fabric. It's dark like this country, the sage one that I'm doing the Santa Claus on, but it's more of a gray. But I'm going to do it with these three DMC colors. So B5200 is the white that's called for, but my two, I'm going to do it in these two blues. I picked these two. I picked 3760 and 3761. And I thought the three of these together, and it's a really dark gray color. This is more of a dark sage. It's like harder to say, but it's kind of dark toned like that there. And I forgot to bring that piece of fabric up, but you'll see when I show it to you next check-in when I get started on that one. My next new start for January, what are we up to? Almost an hour and a half. Oof. Hope you guys are hanging in there. This one is by the Scarlet House, and this one is the Sampler for All Seasons. And I thought if I start this at the beginning of the year, thinking, if I worked on it throughout the year, so if I started and did this winter section in like, a quarter, did halfway up the top here, do all of this in the winter, and then in the spring and in the summer and in the fall, and have it all finished by the end of the year. I don't know if I will, but if I stayed committed to it, that's my thinking anyway. So I definitely am going to start up here in the winter corner. And I like what it says on it. It says, when the weather is hot, rainy, or cold, I look at my chart and stitch as I'm told. The wind may howl, raindrops may fall, in my own world and safe from it all, with colors of thread from every hue, it makes me happy, this much is true. So I'm going to do that one. I'm going to stitch it on this piece. I've got the the called for threads already. I think I kitted this when I was at Salty Yarns. So I got all of the called for threads for it. And I got a piece of 32 count flax Belfast linen. So 4 of this piece, because I think it really looks close to what the called for, what the model was stitched on. So got that to start. Throw it back in the bag. And I have one more new start for the month to show you. Well, for next month, for January. Just throw that in there. And this one's going to be a big one. I'm trying to, since I'm going to start 62 new starts, they're not all going to be huge pieces. Some are going to be small. They may just be like a little ornament or a Prairie School or Santa, size pieces. But this one is going to be a large one. This one's 250 by 248 wide. And this is At Home by Brenda Gervais. I've had this one. I got it earlier this year, and I've been itching to start this one. But I thought, no, Vicki, you don't need to start another big sampler. But you know what? You only turned 62 once, so I'm gonna do it up and stitch all the things. So I've kitted this at Salty Yarns. I got the threads I needed for it, and I picked up a piece of 28 count Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim, and it looks like this one might be a linen. So I'm going to do it on this. It's a very, not very modeled piece, but lightly modeled. Looks very similar to what the model was stitched with. And then the last that I want to show you, let me get it all here. Let me get this. Was haul. And it's not really a Stitchy Kindness, but it's some mail. My mail call. It's my Christmas card that I got from Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching. I got their Christmas card. Thank you, ladies, so much. If you're watching this, thank you, thank you. It's adorable. I hope you guys have a first-class Christmas also. And so I just wanted to share that I got this lovely card in the mail. And then I'm going to show you a little bit more. I showed you I kitted a couple of things when I was at Salty Yarns. And then I also picked up a few charts. And one of them is the new Brenda Gervais, The Light of Winter. So who knows, this may be a new start at the end of next year, and one of my 62 new starts. It might be closer to Christmas next year, because I started enough Christmassy things this year. And I have this one kitted with a piece of Desert Taipan by Fox and Rabbit. And I have some of the flosses in there. So, got that. So, what other haul did I get while I was at Salty Yarns? Oh, yes. I got, by Plum Street Samplers, I picked up this Yuletide Delivery. This won't get started this year, but maybe next year, we'll see. And I picked up a piece of, actually I picked out, I think this was in there. They have, at Salty Yarns, they have bins of remnant fabrics. And this is a piece that's 10 inches by 21 inches of 36 count raw and natural. And it'll fit on this. And I think it'll look good on that. So I have those together in a bag, kitted up. And then I had, couldn't resist. I love Teresa Kogut, love Plum Street, love Teresa Kogut, Blackbird, Brenda Gervais, you know, all my favorites. Kathy Barrick, Carriage House. Well, Teresa Kogut is one of my favorites. And they had her Hello Autumn book. And I was flipping through it. Because I thought, not only do I love this, I love this. This is probably going to be a new start in the fall. But I was flipping through it and I was like, I love everything in here. So not just that one. And what I did was I looked at, it's mostly called for, most of the patterns are called for, at least this cover one, this cover pattern. And I don't want to show you the chart. This one, look at that scarecrow. He's so cute. It looks like the only overdyes that they need are just these few of Weeks Dye Works. You know, 5 or 6 Weeks Dye Works for the 2 of them. And the rest are DMCs. So I went ahead and picked up the Weeks Dye Works. Because then that way when I'm ready to start these, I have the overdyes and all I need to do is pull out my DMCs. But then this one, look at this turkey. Folksy Thomas. Oh, look at him. Oh, he's so cute. And that's not all. I was like, my goodness, my goodness. These 2 pumpkin people, aren't they cute? Aren't they just adorable? And that's not all. There was this autumn. Oh man, that's a small one. That could be stitched up fairly quick. It's not very big. It's only 113 stitches by 36. It's really small. Another scarecrow, Sunflower Sam. Look at him. Oh, I'm telling you, this has all the fall feels in it. So I had to get this one. Oh, and then one more, Autumnal Bliss. And she shows it finished as a pillow. Look at that. Love it. So I had to get that because, you know, I love Teresa Kogut. Love her stuff. And then I was watching Lori Schicklone, her latest video, and she is going to get ready to start the Angel of Light. So I was looking for the Angel of Light by Lavender and Lace because I love the Lavender and Lace pieces. Like I had said earlier, believe it or not, they are some of my comfort stitching because I've stitched a lot of the angels and things before. Like when I'm working on Santo the Forest, he's a comfort stitch for me. I just love stitching on it. And it's just, I learned how to stitch on a Lavender and Lace for the most part. And, you know, just some leisure art, leaflets, Paula Vaughn, stuff like that. So I got this Lavender and Lace. I couldn't find Angel of Light, but I got the Angel of Freedom, which is kind of her sister chart. The other one faces this way. And I have her on order, the Angel of Light, because they did not have her at Salty Yarns, but they had the Angel of Freedom. So I thought, I want both. These aren't really big angels, not like some of the other ones I've done in the past, like the Spring Angel and the Autumn Angel. And so I picked up a piece of 32 count Stone Gray Lugana to stitch her on while I was at Salty Yarns. So do her on that. And like I said, I have the other one on order. Don't have her yet. And then the last chart that I picked up at Salty Yarns is a Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread. Had to. This might be a new start this summer. Summer at Cherry Hill. Looks like this. And I picked up I don't have the threads. I can stitch from stash or get them when I go to Salty Yarns the next time, maybe. But this is 32 count sand by Picture This Plus. This looks like it's a linen sand. So I picked that up to do that on. I think is that the call for? Yes, sand linen. I Picture This Plus is the call for. But they're doing 40 count, and I picked up a 32 count, so. And then I picked up the 2024 Book of Days. I've been using just a regular calendar, and I thought, I just want to do the Book of Days. I haven't stickered up my Book of Days or done anything really to it yet. So it's just plain. I might sticker it up, we'll see. But while I was at my retreat, there's a lady there, Debbie. She was talking to me and Danielle, and she was talking about how she uses her Book of Days. And she does knitting and cross stitch, and I don't know if she does any other crafts, but I know she does knitting and cross stitch. So she said that she likes to use different color ink for when she notates when she knits and what projects she's knitting on, and different notations for cross stitch. I mean, different ink for cross stitch. And then she said, and then you could also do like a different color for a finish, a different color for a start, so that you could kind of keep track of, so you could glance at your calendar page, and if it's, you know, green, then you know it was a start, orange was a finish, you know, whatever colors you pick. So she was telling us that she showed us, she uses, and I remember these from when I was a kid, these multi-pins. So you could click it down, you know, if you wanted to use blue, click down the blue. If you wanted to use yellow, you know, green, purple, orange. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to delegate a certain color to a certain thing on my calendar. So, you know, I do knit, I do diamond paint. Sometimes I knit. I'm going to take a knitting class in January, so I know I'm going to be starting a project. And I just picked these up off of Amazon, and it was a 6-pack, so I've got plenty of them. So if I lose one, or ink runs out, or it quits working, whatever, I have, because it wasn't that much. I think, I don't know, $8 or $9 for 6 of them. So I figured, why not? Because they're not the highest quality pens, but as long as they work, that's all that matters to me. So, you know, red might be delegated to a certain thing, orange, purple, blue. There's even black in here, green. So, can't remember how many colors. 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 colors. So I have 6 color options in each pen. So I picked this pack of pens up off of Amazon to go with my Book of Days. So that's not really cross stitch, but it's cross stitch related, crafting related. It's going to help me keep track of my on my calendar. So I thought I would do that because I'm going to have all those starts. I want to, you know, maybe put them in green for go, like it's a start. Maybe red for a finish, because stop. I don't know. That might be my thinking on that. That's where my mind goes. And so I think that's it. My basket is empty. My bin is full of other things. I have piles on the floor. I have things everywhere. So I think I am completely finished with showing you everything I've been up to for the last couple of months, you know, almost 2 months now. So I wish you guys a great rest of your year. As I said at the beginning of this video, I really appreciate you all. I want to say I was counting my blessings for the year, and you guys are numbered among them. You are just a wonderful group of people that I love when people can be kind, show kindness, show love. I mean, the world needs more kindness and more love. It honestly does. And I really am so blessed and so glad that I can count you guys as my stitchy friends, that I can talk to about my stitching, and that you understand You understand the struggles with having to frog out things, having mistakes, finding the perfect piece of fabric. You know, sometimes you guys give me tips on things when I'm having kind of I'm kind of stalled on something, or I ask for some advice on a particular thing, and you guys have always come through, and I really appreciate the kind words, the kind thoughts, and I send kind thoughts to you guys, all of you, and I wish you a really happy 2024. And I probably won't be back until 2024 because we're a couple of weeks out of the year. I'm hoping next year to be better and be checking in with you guys at least once every month, not going 2 months without checking in with you guys. I really appreciate that you hung in there with me and that you came back. And I want to say that I am planning on doing a WIP parade in January, probably sometime in the beginning. That'll probably be my next video. But this WIP parade is going to be what I've decided I think I'm going to do going forward. This is my thought process anyway, is that I am going to start doing WIP parades of things. I'm going to do 2 a year, one at the beginning of the year and one mid-year WIP parade. And what I'm going to do is only show you what I've worked on in that time frame. So my last WIP parade, I believe, was in July, sometime around the beginning of July, I think. So from what I stitched on from then to the end of the year is what I'm going to do in my WIP parade that you're going to see in January. That's my plan. Like I always say, Lord willing and the creek don't rise. That's my plan. And then probably sometime close to around June, July timeframe, you know, the beginning of July, I want to try to do another WIP parade. It'll be my mid-year, and it'll be everything that I did from January through June. So that is what my thinking going forward is, to do 2 WIP parades a year and not show every single thing I have, because not every single thing has been worked on since I last showed it to you. And since I work on so many pieces, I am going to have a lot of starts going on. Well, I always have a lot of starts, but I'm really going to have, I think this 62 new starts is going to be the most new starts that I've done in a year. So there's going to be a lot of new starts to show you, the progress on those. And of course, I'm going to give you monthly progresses. That's my plan, is to come back, you know, in January, I'm going to do the WIP parade, show you where everything is standing that I've worked on since July. And then in February, you'll be able to see what I worked on in January, and in March, you'll see what I worked on in February, and so on. So those are my plans going forward for the new year. And I wish you guys the most blessed and peaceful 2024, and all the kindness. I'm just sending you guys so much hugs, so much love. And I just wish you guys all the happy holidays, and I'll see you again in 2024. Bye, guys.